Not a day goes by where we don't hear about some new social media marketing case study where someone got crazy results instantly just by doing one simple thing. They did it and results went from here to here. But what's the reality of social media marketing, especially when you're getting started? Well, in today's video, I'm going to take you behind the curtain and show you how our social media marketing campaign, which we just started in the last 6 weeks, what it looks like when you're doing the best practices, so that you can set your expectations in the right place, and when things don't instantly grow, what you should do instead. Hey, Matt here, founder of AutoGrow.co, and today I want to show you exactly what we've been doing to grow our social media traffic, because it's a brand new channel for us. And up until this point, most of our traffic has come from SEO. In other words, we rank high in Google for certain keywords, and much of our traffic comes from that, and from the email campaigns that we've been sending to the email list that we've been building over the many months and years since we started doing that. So let's go ahead and take a peek at the stats. We've been doing this for about 6 weeks, keep in mind, and I want to show this to you because I want to give you an honest look at how it looks when you just start out, and you might only be doing the best practices that everyone says, oh, they just work, just do it. It might not actually work out that way. So let's take a look at what it looks like when you only do the best practices, and how does the data come out. So on our team, we've been saying for a while now that we wanted to invest in social media, and we wanted to do that because if you look at our current traffic, you can see that less than 10%, actually less than 1%, is coming from social media. So we figured, okay, organic traffic is continuing to grow pretty steadily, and even more quickly, as you'll hear later this week, when I do another Matt Hacks reflecting on 3 lessons learned from how we grew to 30,000 visits per month. But we felt that the social media marketing channels were really underdeveloped for us, and we feel that, okay, maybe we can double our traffic if we can, get those to work as well as organic traffic has been working for us with Google and other search engines, right? So what we started doing about 6 weeks ago is we picked a few channels to focus on. We picked Pinterest, we picked Facebook, we picked LinkedIn, all right? And what we did there was just doing the best practices. In other words, we weren't starting to engage with people yet if they commented. No one commented, as you'll see, but just by doing the best practices, we really haven't seen any growth at all, because this data is actually up to date that you're seeing on the screen. It really hasn't moved the needle at all. It's just still been hovering just under 1% of our total traffic 6 weeks later. Now, let's take a look at what we're seeing on Facebook. So the thing that I want to tell you, though, as we go through this, is that these social networks that give you these stats like Facebook, they also have an agenda. They want to give you a lot of vanity stats. They want to make it look like there's a lot of activity going on, even if these stats are, much of them, useless, right? So the only the stats that I'm focused on are what is the reach, and how many people are actually clicking back to our site, and then maybe if people are sharing it too, I might want to know that as well. So they give you a lot of stats here that aren't so important. And reach, we see here, has actually dropped, and I'll get into why I think that is coming up in a minute. But if we dig into it, like they'll present a graph like this right at the top to when I go to look at stats for the post, showing, okay, when is everyone who's a fan of our page, when are they online, and it looks like it's up and to the right, even though this has nothing to do with anything that we've actually been doing. It's just showing us, maybe when we might want to focus on posting more, maybe 8 p.m. is the right time. In either case, what we do see is over the last 6 weeks, we've been posting regularly, which is best practice, and we've been posting pictures, all right? And the reason why I think that our reach has been dropping is because, as you'll see in an article that we're coming out with tomorrow, Mark Zuckerberg and the Facebook team are putting in place a new policy that's further going to de-emphasize posts from pages in people's newsfeed and show more posts from friends and family in people's news feeds instead that they're closer to in terms of a social connection. And this is just another step in a long slide in terms of reach for pages that has been going on for pretty much since Facebook actually rolled out pages. And Facebook is, in my opinion, should increasingly be thought of as a pay for play sort of advertising platform. The organic reach is only going to continue to drop, but for the time being, we're going to give it a shot and continue to see if we can grow our audience and grow our traffic from it. So that's one reason why I think the reach is dropping. The other reason is that Facebook wants to keep people on Facebook. So if you make posts on your page that include links, those posts are less likely, from what I see here, to show up in people's news feeds. And because most of our posts here, even though they include a nice picture, which is kind of the currency on Facebook in terms of news feeds and getting people's attention, that can actually hurt because they don't want people leaving Facebook, so they're less likely to show it to more of your Facebook fans and followers. All right. And if we go over to our Buffer account here, we're really not seeing a lot of activity across the platforms either. As I mentioned, we've been focused on Pinterest and Facebook and Instagram, and we've really just been posting regularly, interesting quotes, facts, our own blog posts, reposting certain tips. And again, we're really not seeing the needle be moved at all. And again, the ones that we're focusing on, we decided to go with Pinterest, Facebook, and LinkedIn. But Twitter, we included in the mix because, what the hell, but it's never really been a good source of traffic for us. Neil Patel reported something similar. I think that if you really invest a lot of time on Twitter in terms of following up, engaging with people, tweeting back and forth, I think that maybe then I've seen it work for other bloggers and influencers. So we may consider something like that. Instagram is something that we're going to get going this month coming up. We had to activate our profile on that. In addition, about halfway through, we changed our strategy on Pinterest because we realized that there's a better way to start getting traction on there, and better way to kind of organize the boards and the way that we actually find people to share our content with and to engage back and forth with. On YouTube, where we're posting these videos, also traffic is maybe going up a little bit, but that's really still just kind of gotten rolling in the last month or so. YouTube isn't known for sending a lot of traffic to websites, but it is the #2 used search engine, and we know that our videos are getting an awful amount of views from there. The traffic that we do get from YouTube, though, is highly engaged, and I'm finding that about 20% of it is coming and actually converting into email subscribers, which is a great metric to be looking at, because we know the value of each one of those subscribers and approximately what they're worth. And if we further break it down, so this is kind of an interesting data point here. We see that a lot of our traffic, most of our traffic from social is coming from Facebook more than any other place. And the engagement is relatively low on average, about low less than 30 seconds. Twitter is high and in the #2 spot. But again, Twitter over the long term, even in the past when we've done experiments with it, really hasn't worked out. But the curious thing about Facebook being #1 is that if we go back to all the posts that we see here, and we see, one of them is, actually I counted up the number of clicks that we got. We got something like 10 clicks in 6 weeks. But it's saying that in that amount of time that we've generated over 140 visits. The question is, where are those visits coming from? Well, it's probably from people actually sharing our posts from our blog onto their own social media, onto their own news feeds. And so this tells me that this is maybe something worth focusing on perhaps more. Maybe we can emphasize the share button more on the side. Maybe we can have less share buttons and focus on just having Facebook and Twitter, or Facebook and LinkedIn, depending on the engagement rate and which ones are converting. So this is the data that we're seeing. And I think that it's useful to you because it sets the expectation that, don't believe the hype out there in terms of case studies that say, oh, just use this one best practice and things are going to work out really well for you. I really liked this quote about best practices from Fast Company, where they say best practices don't make you the best, they make you the average of everyone else who follows them. So that's one of the key takeaways from today is don't believe the hype. You can get value from reading some of the case studies that are out there, but don't assume that just because you use some of the same best practices that these people who have supposedly gotten results recommend, don't assume that you're going to instantly be successful as well. All right. And beyond that, here's the one action that I want you to take away from this video and actually do today. I want you to let the data guide you. All right. I want you to avoid simply using these best practices because, again, they could just make you average on the whole. And instead, be prepared to get your hands dirty as you dig into the details to figure out what is really going to get you results. All right. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be about alignment. How does your brand fit into these different social media channels, and which channels are actually going to give you traction, and are you actually able to budget the time and resources to dedicate to them? Okay, so choose your social media channels wisely, and don't be afraid to actually dig in and get your hands dirty. Don't just go out there and copy someone else's strategy, but you can start, that could be a starting point for you, but develop your own and develop in your own direction. All right. If you want to take it to the next level, never miss another Matt Hacks video, including our weekly in-depth guides that we publish every Tuesday. Subscribe to our newsletter. The link is directly below this video, and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube by hitting the red button directly below here as well. Until next time, my name is Matt Ack in the Matt Hat, delivering you your daily dose of Matt Hacks. Until next time, keep hustling, stay focused, and remember, tomorrow we're coming out with our next in-depth guide. I'll see you then. That guide is going to be expanding more on the fact that Facebook page reach, according to Mark Zuckerberg, is just going to continue going down, and the point where it's at right now is that it is a pay-for-play network. So don't miss that coming up tomorrow. I'll see you then.